Good morning, everyone. This is Mike, the lead pastor of South Suburban Church, if you didn't know. This is your sermon preview video, so dealing with what we're going to be talking about and spending time together on Sunday morning. So we're going to be in 1 Peter chapter 3, verses 1 through 7 this week together. If you want to read ahead, I'd encourage you to do so. And this is continuing the theme that we saw last week, that chapter 2, verse 12 says, "Keep your conduct among the Gentiles honorable, so that when they speak against you as evildoers, they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day of visitation." So last week we saw the command to be subject to those who are in authority over us. We also saw the need for servants to be subject to your masters. And this week we're going to be looking at marriage. So what does a perfect marriage look like in your mind? Is it a knight in shining armor coming and sweeping you off your feet and then riding off into the sunset? Is it more like The Notebook, where you're at each other's throats until you fall for each other? Or maybe your favorite movie is 27 Dresses, where you find someone who has been a bridesmaid 27 times but has yet to be the bride. My concern is that for us as Christians, we are far too often more like the world in our approach to marriage than asking the question of how we can faithfully follow how God has commanded us to live. It's a little bit like the story you may have heard. A fish was swimming around and another fish asked him, "What do you think of the water?" And the fish said, "What is water?" I think so often we just kind of breathe in and assume the context that we find ourselves in instead of going back to God's Word, going back to the Bible and finding out what God says and how God commands us to live. So I'm going to ask that question a little bit differently. What does a godly marriage look like? What are some examples that you know of where the couple modeled for you a healthy and a fruitful marriage? What were the things that they did? What were the practices that they had in place that helped them conform each other into the image of Jesus Christ? That's what we're going to be studying together this week. What does a healthy and a fruitful marriage look like? We're going to be looking at living well in the home. So looking forward to seeing you Sunday morning here at 9 o'clock or 10:30. Or if you don't feel comfortable coming out in person wearing a mask, please join us online here at southsuburban.church. We'll be in 1 Peter 3, 1 through 7. One last time, remember, read those 7 verses before we gather together and be praying about our time together.